Oh my God, how did Ryan Gosling get nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Barbie, but Margot Robbie doesn't get anything? How can the director of the movie not get nominated? Greta Gerwig made this brilliant billion-dollar grosser that was critically acclaimed. It proves the moral of the movie was right. No, it doesn't. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Instagram and on Threads, Movies TV Mad X. A very warm welcome to today's video. So let's talk about the woke meltdown for Barbie's Greta Gerwig and Barbie's Margot Robbie not getting nominated for Oscars by the Academy in this year's Oscars nominations. There's always a meltdown from someone. We need to normalize just because your favorite actors, your favorite producers and your favorite directors and makeup artists aren't nominated for an Oscar, it doesn't mean they're being snubbed. I think this year's Oscars were very, very diverse, but it's never enough for the woke mind virus. There's never enough diversity. Now, the social media meltdown for Ryan Gosling's nomination and the lack of a nomination as Best Actress for Margot Robbie and Best Director for Greta Gerwig was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. I've had an issue with Barbie from the day it was being developed. For years now, Margot Robbie has sacrificed her career looking for woke feminist vehicles for her movies. She tried with Birds of Prey, ruined those characters, ruined the character that she made so famous in live action just to make that feminist kind of speech. It didn't work. Nobody came to see that movie, but it happened to work with Barbie. Critically acclaimed, although the critical kind of, the way people criticize movies, the way people review movies is corrupt. And, you know, Rotten Tomato scores can be manipulated these days. So being critically acclaimed has no value anymore. But according to Warner Brothers, it made over $1 billion. I find that hard to believe. I thought this movie was going to be a disaster. It's interesting. Although Christopher Nolan's Taylor does tell me that he has to keep on mending Chris's shoulder pads from carrying Barbie all this time. And that's what Oppenheimer actually is. That's what Barbieheimer actually is, should I say. It's Christopher Nolan carrying this movie. Without the Barbieheimer thing, that movie makes around 500 million. That actually still would have been a good result for Barbie. But anyway, apparently it did make $1 billion. But the meltdown for the snub from Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig has been beautiful, enjoyable, and funny because the nominations were very, very diverse. America Ferrera has been nominated. Now, I loved America as Ugly Betty, very talented actress, but she's part of the woke mind virus. Watching her performance, watching what she said in that Barbie film, in the famous speech, it's the most pathetic speech I've ever seen and doesn't have any truth to it. Because Barbie is complaining about the treatment of LA, spoiled, wealthy LA women, spoiled, wealthy female Hollywood actresses. They're not making a point about the horrible treatment of women and young girls in the third world. They don't care about them. It's all about the Californian women and the Californian woke mindset. That's all that movie is about. You should be glad and relieved that Christopher Nolan helped you make $1 billion out of your movie, but that wasn't enough, was it? So now on X Twitter, on Threads, you see the same complaint. Ryan Gosling being nominated, but Margot Robbie not being nominated means that what the movie was saying was right. No, maybe the Academy rated his performance over Margot Robbie's. I don't think Robbie's performance kind of says to me she should absolutely be nominated, for example, for Best Actress. For example, right, if you decide to put her in there, right, you're making these nominations. Which actress do you pull out, right? Which actress do you replace or take out to put Margot Robbie in? Because I'm not taking any of those talented actresses out. So in fact, we're not talking about replacing a female with, taking a male out and putting a female in. We're talking about the Best Actress nomination, right? So which actress are you taking out? Now, in terms of Best Director, it's a different situation, but there are a couple of female directors in that nomination, if I recall, right? So what else do you want? You wanted one of the men in that nomination list to be pulled out. Well, which man are you taking out? Comments down below if you're part of the woke mind virus. Let me know. Let me know which male director you're taking out in those nominations and putting Greta Gerwig in. I spoke about Greta Gerwig possibly directing Supergirl, or me thinking it might be a good idea, even though she is part of the woke mindset. But she is a very good director. I don't think she comes up in the names of one of the best directors of all time. She ain't a Coppola, she ain't a Scorsese, she ain't even a Christopher Nolan, but she's a very good, capable director. But the woke mind virus, because she's female, has decided she's the best director ever. This is kind of where we are today. It's the arrogance that they think just because she's female, just because she made a woke feminist movie, which is what Barbie is, she should automatically qualify for every award. And Barbie's been nominated for 8 Oscars, I think, which is 8 Oscars too many as far as I'm concerned. Look, for me, it's an average movie, which is just shouting and crying and screaming about feminism. Third wave feminism, not proper feminism, not the feminism that the suffragettes sacrificed their lives and died for. These are wealthy women complaining about things that have no basis in reality. As I say, they don't care about third world women, women suffering with starvation and hunger and rape, children being sexually abused and being handed to older males, right, and being allowed to marry older males. They don't care about those girls. There is about 1 or 2% of feminists in Hollywood who do care about those girls, but it's not enough. Barbie is a movie complaining of the treatment of wealthy, spoiled females living in California, LA, Hollywood Boulevard, all of that. Yeah, isn't that fun? I bet you feel really, really sorry for them. Now, I think I know why Barbie may have allegedly won $1 billion if it actually really did make. Won $1 billion? Well, for them it was a win, but made $1 billion in the global box office. Look, congratulations, you made your mark. Barbie's a popular character, clearly, with the LGBTQ community, and I certainly, when I predicted failure for the film, underestimated how much that community was going to prop that movie up. The song was great, the music was great. You know, I would have nominated like some of the music from Barbie for an Oscar and some of the makeup, but nothing else. That movie isn't good enough. It's not of a high quality enough to be nominated for multiple Oscars just because Margot Robbie and her Lucky Chat production company, and we all know why the propaganda merchant named it that, and because Greta Gerwig, a female, directed the movie, doesn't give you the divine right to be, nominated as one of the better directors. Because as I said, everyone in the Best Director category is a better director and did a better job on the movie they're being nominated as Best Director for than Greta Gerwig did. That's my point. So as I say, as you go down your Twitter X timeline or your threads, what happens is the more you respond to the same kind of post, the more of those posts you get. So you get more and more and more. And I couldn't let it go. I had to keep on mocking everyone with the, oh, well, Ryan Gosling's been nominated and Margot hasn't. That must mean the Academy are sexist. It proves the movie's point. No, it does not. But this is the cope. This is the cope from these people. It helps them to sleep better at night because they thought Barbie was going to clean up. What may happen because of this meltdown now, because Barbie was nominated as one of the best pictures, they may give Best Picture to Barbie instead of Oppenheimer. Now, as I say, if you want to give Barbie an award for makeup, for music, I'm fine with that. But anything else, right? Maybe America Ferrera may win best supporting actress, right? That's okay. I mean, look, they're all going mad. Like Woke Hollywood Variety, which is the most woke publication out there these days, is really obsessed with America Ferrera and that speech. I don't think that speech has any credence to it because really it comes from a mindset of a privileged, talented woman living in Hollywood, California. She's a very talented woman. She's a Latino woman. Maybe she came from poverty. I have no idea. I do know that I rate her performance as Ugly Betty highly, and that's the best thing that woman has ever done. I'm sure she'll say that TV show was problematic, wasn't very good, whatever she'll say. I don't know if she's proud of that or not. But at the end of the day, that's how I know America Ferrera. That's where I recognise her from, Ugly Betty. A show starring a female lead that starts down there but rises through hard work and being a pure-hearted person. That story is fundamentally beautiful, and it stars, excuse my throat, but it stars a strong or someone who hasn't got much confidence but builds her confidence up. It's an amazing show. It's amazingly executed. But in terms of what she's done in Barbie, I'm not going to remember her for that. But let's be honest, Barbie wasn't made for me. And that's okay. I mean, Ben 10 wasn't made for me, but I fucking watch it on the Cartoon Network every morning. But I didn't enjoy the Barbie movie because I know what it's attempting to say. It's a very troubling, poisonous, toxic piece of messaging. And this is what, as I said earlier, this is what Margot Robbie has been attempting to do unsuccessfully for a very long time. But she was successful this time in spreading her poison. But that's never enough for them. As I say, I think Margot's performance in Barbie is adequate. But nominating her as a Best Actress, absolutely not. That's not what I'm looking. I don't think she's one of the better actresses, of the kind of timeline where the nominations came in at. So, personally, listen, let's say I hate the Barbie movie, right, for what it represents. But I see the film and I see that Margot's done a great performance. I'll be fighting for her to be nominated as well. But I don't see anything in that performance that I haven't seen from Margot before. There's nothing special, there's nothing unique. Being an actress and doing an adequate job doesn't mean you fundamentally should be able to get a nomination for an unsophisticated performance, because that's what it is. And that's the issue, right? She's up against other women. So when you say, the guy playing Ken was nominated, why wasn't she? Because the Academy deemed that his performance was more sophisticated than hers. And you know what's funny about Ryan Gosling's performance? It is a lot more sophisticated than hers. But let's not forget the toxic commentary they're putting via his character. So the irony isn't lost on me that he's a part of the patriarchy they're talking about, and he got nominated for the Oscar while Robbie didn't. And this is the point they're trying to make, but their point is wrong. The irony is that they use this actor and the character he's playing for their propaganda, their extremism, and he gets an award for doing it. Because make no mistake, Ryan Gosling is part of the woke mind virus. He's as woke as the rest of them. So don't think, I'm not defending Ryan Gosling because he's part of the fucking problem, right? Is he the actor who's meant to be in the new Ghost reboot? who said the original was problematic. It's either him or another actor, whatever, right? I think it may not even be him. But anyway, they're all part of the same woke mind virus, right? They're all part of the same problem. This is the problem. They've killed their own industry because really fundamentally, they're not lovers of the way the industry was and should be. So they've burnt it to the ground. They've burnt entertainment to the ground, escapism, and also good business and profitability. Now, amazingly, Barbie allegedly made money. But ironically, when they talk about, in Barbie and Birds of Prey about men taking credit for women's work and the rest of the shit they say in that movie, they literally rode the coattails of Oppenheimer and Christopher Nolan, right? That's what Barbieheimer is. They're riding that movie's coattails. Take Barbieheimer away and that movie doesn't make the same money. If Barbie isn't released at the same time as Oppenheimer, Oppenheimer still makes money. I keep on hearing from the defenders of Barbie and the ones offended, absolutely offended because, apparently Greta Gerwig was snubbed and Margot Robbie was snubbed, that apparently Barbie and Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie saved cinema. No, they didn't. Nobody's going to save modern day cinema. Modern day cinema has been dying since the early noughties. It's not just wokeness and the woke mind virus that have been killing, Hollywood and the cinematic system. It's been creative bankruptcy. And this started way before they got triggered by Trump. I'm not a Trump fan before anybody starts, right? But even before Ghostbusters 2016, oh my God, that movie. Let's not get into it. Although I don't think it's the worst of movies, it's not the best either. They had an opportunity with that movie to have 2 men and 2 women in it. To continue it from the original Ghostbusters, they don't even know how to be fucking inclusive properly while being entertaining and actually making money and implementing good business. It's all about their toxicity and gaslighting women, gaslighting the transgender community and making those communities targets rather than being kind and compassionate and bringing men, straight white males, white women, black women, Asian women all together in a story that unifies everyone. But extremism isn't about unification, it's about division. It's about toxicity. It's about setting everyone up against each other. And if you don't see that yet, you haven't been paying attention. And Barbie really didn't create many problems or toxicity, although I believe the movie is utterly toxic. It was successful. People have been dressing up like Ken and Barbie. It was actually, even though I hate the movie and what it's trying to do, I think it's lovely. I think it's brilliant. It reminds me when everyone was dressing up as Wonder Woman when the first movie was released. Boys, girls. It was a wonderful thing to see. A celebration of those characters. The toxicity has begun now because the woke mind virus, the gang, the mob are unhappy because their director and their actress wasn't nominated. I hate this term snubbed. They weren't snubbed. There was just better people who did a better job this year in those movies they were nominated for. But as I said earlier, I'd love you to comment in the comments down below and let me know who would you replace to put Margot as best actress? Who would you replace as best director to put Greta in that list? I'd really like to know. This is where the woke mind viruses, let me say that again, that's when the woke mind viruses argument falls short. Because there's no logic to the woke mentality. Woke used to be a beautiful word about being compassionate, kind, and charitable. Unfortunately, it means something else. And it's a term I don't usually like using, but this time I'm going to use it to trigger the right people. These are the same people who say the Friends sitcom is problematic. The best comedy is risque, and Friends do make a lot of fat jokes and, and some of the jokes can be deemed as homophobic. But I don't see their humour as homophobic. It's just a product of its time. But of course, the woke mind virus don't see it like that. But anyway, in terms of Barbie and Greta Gerwig not being nominated and Margot Robbie not being nominated, I don't have an issue with it. Not one little bit. Because as I say, the nominations are really, really diverse. Really diverse. If you don't believe me and you don't know the nominations, check them out if you can be bothered. They're very fair, diverse. I think this may be the fairest and the most rightest bunch of Academy nominations from the Academy in years. I personally, there's a couple of ones there I said, really? But ultimately, I'm quite happy with who's being nominated. If anyone should be unhappy, it should be Leonardo DiCaprio and his fans. Oh, but he's a white male. He's got no right to complain about being snubbed. But it doesn't really matter. His award is his illustrious career. So it really doesn't matter. And the competition is so brilliant this year in terms of best actors and best supporting actors that Leo was never going to win this year anyway. And his performance, like all the other of his performances in his illustrious career, are always brilliant. And I don't know which performance I'd say is better than the others. That's fine. Leo's fans are not really complaining. Leo's not complaining. He's fine with it. We're fine with it. It's okay. But the arrogant, ignorant, woke mind virus can't accept that. And Margot Robbie must be nominated because she's a woman. Greta Gerwig should be nominated as Best Director because she's a woman. And this is the situation. Why? Why do you think these people have got the divine right to be nominated for something that the truth is they don't deserve to be? Because I'm asking you a question, a simple question that I want you to answer. Who do you get them to replace? Which actress do you want Margot Robbie to replace? Which director do you want pulled out of the Best Director nomination, right? It'll be interesting what you have to say if anyone's even watching this video or, looking at this video and has a strong opinion about what I have to say. These are my opinions because at the end of the day, I'm all for diversity when everyone's being employed for the right reasons. But kind of the diversity rules in this era means that you just pull out all the talented people, right? Just because there happens to be straight white men with talent in roles, we're going to replace them with diverse people, right? And women. Right? That's what we're doing now. The world has gone absolutely insane. It's like it's being run by Cocteau from Demolition Man. Demolition Man ended up being true. So we do live in an insane world when you go on social media and you see the reaction, the outrage. There's a lot of outrage from Gen Z these days. It doesn't take much to outrage Gen Z these days. And now they're outraged because Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig were snubbed. I thought they were snubbed quite rightly so. I was very happy they were snubbed because I don't like the toxic message that Barbie is spreading because it's a false message. As I say, it doesn't have a grain of truth to it. It's the delusion of these people living in California because as far as I'm concerned, they are regrettably insane and deluded. And, I challenge any, sane guy or sane person to watch that Barbie movie after it, it's putting us down. Let's not forget that. The Barbie movie is putting men like myself down. That's the whole point of what they're trying to say. Now, in reality, what the Barbie movie is really complaining about is the patriarchy in Hollywood and the entertainment industry. That is what they're truly, truly complaining about. That's what the movie's doing. Is it my fault as a man that your industry is corrupt? Is it? Is it my fault? It ain't my fault that you come from a fucking toxic destructive industry. That ain't my fault. That's on the industry and the way it's set up. There's no proper regulators in Hollywood. And if I'm wrong about that, the regulators are corrupt. There's no independent regulators in Hollywood. It's not policed. They just get to do whatever they want. Meanwhile, they lecture their customers. They put down their customers when they are the most corrupt and criminal people in any business around the world. The hypocrisy of Hollywood is never lost on me. Yes, growing up, I knew that Hollywood was problematic and a lot of bad things were happening. And even though I didn't like it, at least they were giving me great entertainment with great escapism. That didn't make their bad behaviour okay. But what's the point in the entertainment industry anymore if they can't make good entertainment? If everything is about gender politics rather than entertaining people, rather than making money. They may think that's a moral thing. Well, we don't want to make money. We just want to represent and include. But isn't it ironic, the most homophobic, racist industry in the history of any industry, in the history of capitalism, is actually talking about diversity when they don't employ one person from the outside. Oh, they'll represent women if they have Hollywood DNA. They'll represent female directors if they have Hollywood DNA. Greta Garwig. Do you think she was born in Brixton, do you? Yeah? Why don't you check out her origins? And they've all got the same origins. That's the point. There is no inclusion in Hollywood. They come from one mindset. They're firing people who are saying free Palestine. Why do you think that is? Because they have one DNA and one mindset. And if you're not part of that DNA or their mindset, you're out. That's how Hollywood works, boys and girls, right? That's how it works. That's the reality of Hollywood. And it's about time someone educated you, like my father did, about the real industry. And now it's at its worst. We've seen what RTD is doing to Doctor Who. The man who brought it back, who breathed life into it, who gave us a wonderful first era of his revival, is now burning everything he created to the ground. You have to ask why. Well, you have to ask him, because I'm at the big position now where I don't even want to watch Doctor Who, not after the way they've treated Millie Gibson, so they can bring a brave, powerful female of diverse origin. Yeah, they'll stab anyone in the back. Already putting it out that she's great, this new diverse companion. And apparently, everybody loves her. Yeah, not talking about Millie anymore. Does that mean everybody didn't like Millie? What's going on? Apparently, Millie's on holiday right now. But back to Barbie. Yes, Margot Robbie. Yes, Greta. You don't deserve your Oscar nominations. That's why you wasn't nominated. And you think just because you're women, you have the divine right to be nominated. That's my point. And you don't. You don't at the end of the day. I hope that Oppenheimer cleans up at the Oscars and wins every single fucking award. I got this horrible suspicion and flash in my mind that Barbie will win Best Picture just to shut everybody up. Because unfortunately, logical and genuine people are afraid of the mob. Because there is a mob. There's an extremist mob out there right now. And this is the problem. And they are in positions of power in every industry and every business around. Especially the entertainment industry. And that's what's destroyed the entertainment industry. Extremism is the worst thing you can have in a world. Whether it's left extremism or far right extremism, basically they all hate a group of people. That's the point. They're fueled by hatred. So the extreme lefts and progressives entertainment industry of today they've taken over is fueled with hatred and gaslighting. And you can never win against the extreme woke mindset. You say something, they say something else. They'll spin, they'll say something else. They'll spin you around for hours, and when you come out of that spin, You'll be all dizzy and you won't be able to debate with them anymore. So I'm very happy that Greta Gerwig hasn't been nominated for Best Director, and I'm very happy that Margot Robbie, a very talented actress, hasn't been nominated as Best Actress for Barbie. It's time, Margot, to find yourself a role where you deserve to be nominated and win an Oscar for.